So you've been the executive director at NFCA since 2015. You also do a little color commentating for ESPN, Big Ten Network. You played at Iowa. You were inducted into the Iowa Hall of Fame. You coached at Michigan, Purdue, Louisville, and then you're doing all these innovative things in the space. I mean, is it kind of crazy to look back at like all the things that you have done and not necessarily like you weren't able to connect the dots, looking forward, but kind of looking back, what do you make of everything that you've done?
That's a great question, Ches. When I was in college, well, first of all, even backing up further, when I was in high school, I played a lot of different sports, and to be honest, basketball might have been my best sport. But on a good day, I'm 5'5", and so I kind of knew that, all right, if I wanted to really be challenged at the college level, at the highest level, Division I level, softball was the way to go. And I still obviously love softball just as much. But so when, first of all, just making that decision kind of steers your career path. And so made the decision to play softball at the University of Iowa. Feel like I was really blessed because when I was at the University of Iowa, the athletic director at the time and someone who became my graduate school academic advisor was Dr. Christine Grant, Dr. Christine Grant is like the mother of Title IX and equity, and still is considered an expert in the field in those areas. And here I am sitting in grad school classes, and I thought she was a really awesome lady, but I didn't realize she was an icon. And the longer my life goes, the more I realize how fortunate I was to play at a school where women's athletics was absolutely treated like men's athletics. Went to school during the time where that 60-40 ratio came around, where if you have 60%, 40% participation in athletes, male, female, and the athletic director at Iowa, Christine Grant, said that's not equal. It needs to be 50-50, whether you have football or not, and made that happen, first school in the country. So just was able to be around some really innovative people. When I graduated from Iowa, I had a business degree and really thought I was going to be, corporate America woman, and interviewed for a few jobs and was offered a few jobs and just couldn't say yes. I still love business. I use business all the time, and like I'm a numbers person, but most importantly, I'm a people person. And so decided, again, another decision and on the crossroads that we all go through in life, and decided, I'm going to go back to school, get my graduate degree, and try coaching, because I just really loved the sport, loved people. And at the time, the head coach at the University of Iowa was Hall of Famer Gail Blevins, who is one of the most successful people in the sport. So I got to hang out with her. Mm-hmm. I learned more from her in 1 year than I probably learned my entire career at that point. And so finished grad school, and then just was really fortunate. The next phone call I got was from Carol Hutchins, speaking of icons, at the University of Michigan, and was able to be her first full-time assistant. Obviously had just an unbelievable experience. Even before she was the Carol Hutchins everyone knows now, she was equally as awesome and competitive and driven, and we're still obviously just best friends today. So just being able to be around kind of the right people at the right time and taking advantage of those opportunities, that led me to being called by Purdue, who was starting a brand new program. They never had a program before, so was able to be hired before I was 30 years old to be the head coach at Purdue, which, today may or may not ever happen again, but
right.
Just kind of right place, right time, growing sport, and had the opportunity to work and grow there before coming to Louisville, and shifting gears to a new conference and just a new part of the country was just another great challenge, and had a lot of success at Louisville. Our teams were ranked in the top 10, top 20 most of the time that I was there. 9 years, and just coached a lot of All-Americans. It was a lot of fun, and then again, just I think if there's one thing I've learned throughout my career, it's just, making sure you make the most of every connection along the way, because you just don't know when they're going to come back to be important in your life. And through my entire 25-year coaching career, at Division I Power 5 schools, I was very involved with the NFCA. So I was the president of the NFCA. I was a Division I rep. I was on committees. I just was really involved. And when it was time to make that transition, just the NFCA was enticing to me because of all the connections I had. And I kind of had an inside view of what was happening with our sport and the association. And what a great time to be a part of softball still, because it's just growing and growing. So, I think just what I make of it, it's a long answer to your question, but what I think I make the most of is just, being able to say yes to the right opportunities, and then making the most of those opportunities, and just making great connections along the way. Even during my time at the NFCA, as you probably know, we have a lot of coaches clinics regionally across the country. And the late, great Mary Nutter created those coaches clinics. She's also in our Hall of Fame, was an outstanding coach and mentor and teacher for years. And I was able to speak for her at those clinics for probably 15 years. And when she passed away and her business partner was looking for something to do with the clinics, because she really didn't want to run them anymore, because of our connections, we were able now at the NSCA to take those on and take on that challenge and continue the education of Mary. So just making the most of your connections, and you just never know when people are going to come back and be a bigger part of your world than they already are today.
Not just the connections you made, the impact that you made with given those opportunities. Let's not just glaze over that because you've done some great things in the space. Obviously, you continue to grow the NFCA memberships. You keep growing the NFCA coaches clinics, now virtual with clinics. You mentioned the podcast, the webinars, the tips, the mentoring. I feel like you put education like on steroids once you took over as the executive director. And I'm sure coaches across the country are just beyond happy with the service that you guys provide in giving them every opportunity to learn something new. So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. And as anyone knows, you're only as good as the people around you. And we have a tireless working NFCA staff. We call ourselves the NFCA team, and they really help execute all of those things, and they're idea machines. They keep me on my toes because they have a lot of ideas as well. But most importantly, we're a nonprofit association, and we just, our whole reason for existing is to help fast pitch softball, the sport grow, and help our coaches grow, which helps our student athletes get better, and our companies get better with creating, great products. And so it really takes a village to keep this going. And I think that we're all, yourself included, just beneficiaries of a very exciting sport that continues to light fires and ignite and grow and spread, and the excitement of it just continues. More people want to play, and more people want to watch, and more opportunities evolve. As you mentioned, the television career. Did I ever think I'd be in a television broadcast booth? No. Do I love it? Yes. I absolutely love it. It's like coaching in the booth,
right?
And staying connected in that way. And so just the amount, it's just a fun time to be a part of the sport of softball. When you look around at some of the other sports, and some are trending in the wrong direction, and I feel like softball's trending in the right direction. And a lot of it is because of the people involved. Our best and brightest people want to give back to our sport and our association, whether it's speaking at a clinic, or whether it's being on a podcast, or whether it's just filling out a survey that says, here's how we feel about recruiting. I mean, we're just very, very involved. And, it's kind of our job at the NFCA to be that bridge between everybody and connect everything and keep our sport growing. There's no doubt. And work with the outside groups like the NCAA, the NAIA, the travel ball community, just trying to meet their needs and all work together for the greater good of the sport.